Hi, welcome to Mom Proof.
Hey, ladies.
Hi.
Here we are. I don't know what episode it is. It doesn't matter, does
we've
it?
lost track.
Oh, good. We're just together again.
We're together.
I know
Yeah.
it's season 3.
Oh, that's good.
I got
Good.
that.
I mean, I can't keep up with Yellowstone. Like, I don't
I
know
was
how.
gonna say.
Well, it's shorter, but that's all right. But this is exciting.
I know. I love getting to know,
Getting to
more
know you.
about us.
I know, right?
Me too.
Yeah.
Great idea. So
Yes,
we're going to
Sandra.
interview you, Kathleen Hassan-Frats, today.
Hello.
You're in the hot seat.
I feel that way. Yeah, I don't know how
You
I
don't
feel
know
about
what's
that.
coming.
Yeah, I don't know about. It's very open here. If you're not watching this, there's a
Yes.
sofa that's empty next to me.
You're lonely over there.
But I could.
Are you?
No,
Oh,
Oh, maybe you should lay
Hello.
down and then we.
I was gonna
like-
say, and then we
like
could do some therapy.
look, no one can hear us.
Oh,
We need to get ourselves together. Look, we were so excited about interviewing you. So let's dive in.
Yes.
Who is Kathleen Hassan-Frats? I mean, I
Is that
know
an
you.
opener? Is that a question?
Yeah, it actually is. I've known you since our kids were in kindergarten. So when I met you, you were working in a school
I
district.
was.
You were.
And I was feeling myself. I remember our first conversation. But anyway, I would say that in my 28 years in public education, that those last 13 in the local district where we all three live was really amazing. I mean, I felt like being in the classroom was my calling. And I taught middle school English, loved 7th graders. I mean, you either love or you hate, and that's a strong word, or dislike
Yes.
middle school. But they
That's
are
tough.
so goofy and so genuine. You have a middle schooler. I mean, I just think they're adorable. And it's just the most awkward, gangly time. So I enjoyed that. But in my second year, I had a school counselor come to me and say, hey, we're going to train some people on a ropes course. You know what that is? And I did not know. This is 35 years ago. And so a ropes course is a series of elements made of wood. Usually you're outside. Teams work together to traverse, from one point to another. Or you can be high, up 35 feet, up on cable, where you're, harnessed in very safely with someone on the ground that's helping you overcome fears and challenges. So I was like, yeah, I don't know, maybe so. So I went to this ropes training, enjoyed it so much that I knew right then, because the best part of that experience was talking after, where you would do an experience and then you would debrief and you would learn about the motivations of how they solved the problem, why they communicated that way, etc. And I was like, I got to be a counselor because this classroom is going to hold me back. And so I started working on my master's while I was teaching. And back in the day, we didn't have online school.
Mm-hmm.
And I would drive from Leander, Texas down to San Marcos. And that was probably, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half each way for like a class.
That was before I-35 was insane,
no,
right?
I-35 was there, but we had
It's
those
always been
phones and the
insane.
kits
Oh, yeah.
only for emergencies. Kind of deal. And
Like break in case of emergency.
yeah, like Breaker 19, but it was great. It took me a while to get my master's in counseling, but then I was able to score that job pretty easily in the district I was in. And I never looked back. I just realized I just enjoyed that age group. I was still at middle school as a counselor, and it was really fulfilling. I did not have my own children yet.
Was that all
Right.
in Lake Travis?
That was in
Or
Leander ISD.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't have my own kids. I always thought that was so interesting to like work with parents and be like
And
consulting.
not have kids.
I know, and I don't mean to judge at all. Like
No, it
having
doesn't
kids
sound like
is
that.
for
Yeah.
not for everybody. But I just remember in the back of my head thinking, well, how the hell can you advise? You can read a book, I can work with your kid, but literally
But you could and you did.
I did, and every now and then I might even disclose that to a parent. I might just be like, I don't have kids at home, but I will say that.
That's one of the things I love about you. You just say it like it is. You're very authentic.
Thank you.
What you see is what you
Yeah.
get.
This is true.
Yes.
That's what my book title should be.
What you see is what you get. Ooh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to hold on to that.
Yeah.
But it was so different when I did have kids. So that was really where I feel like I settled into maybe understanding therapy, its advantages, where my weaknesses still were, how relationships were still sometimes not authentic. And I felt like I didn't have kids for that reason. I did have kids late in life, 38 and 40 years old, but I felt much more settled in authentically as a person, able to advise others when I had been through it all with that.
So is that when you decided you wanted to be a licensed psychologist?
Ooh, a licensed therapist?
Yes, therapist. I always get that
I
wrong.
know.
Yeah.
I want to be a
I
psychologist.
wonder how many, like in a blooper thing, I said that wrong.
It's fucking every time.
You're just so smart.
Yeah.
Thank
I feel like you
Thank
need lots of letters
Yeah,
before and
I
after
know.
your name. So
Oh, I wish I could find the motivation to go back. I do not want to. That is a choice, but you need a PhD. You have to get a doctorate. But yeah, I actually got the license as a therapist right when I was finishing the school counseling. I was still young. I was licensed fully at 28
Oh, wow.
and dabbled in the private practice a little bit, and then had some really close scares where, suicidal. I was seeing all ages, by the way, at that time too. So I saw men, women, couples. I just, you're trying to figure out what your niche is, kind of. And I had, a couple instances where, someone was super suicidal, and at that time, that wasn't my calling, right? Like this, and we'll talk about that in a second, but I was not necessarily knowing that was my, like, ooh, I'm bothered about suicide prevention.
right.
So I just remember it was a Thanksgiving Eve. I was in a different marriage, no kids, and I had worked all day as a school counselor. This is what I did. I'd come to my office, I sublet from someone, and then see 3 or 4 clients trying to get some experience. And the last client, just as you would picture, the last client, it's like 8 o'clock at night, because I would see one at 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30.
And it had to be in the evening. Yeah.
Wow.
And it was the night before Thanksgiving, and we had family coming in, and I remember thinking, oh shit, like this is for real. Like she's not feeling well, and she was like probably a 36-year-old mom, and I just had to call 911. I mean, we just stayed with her and got the police, the fire people there, and got her transported somewhere, and just remember thinking 2 things really. A, I'm out of my league. Like this is, I don't know if I'm trained for this. Like, oh shit, I'm playing a therapist on TV. It's not really who like it was all like at a pretty low office.
The imposter thing.
Yeah, it was totally imposter.
syndrome.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the second thing was, I just thought, here it is. Fucking's cutting into my time. Like that's where I was at that time. Picture I'm 28.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, damn, I'm trying to get home. And so I just like put a pause. I remember very shortly after that, I started going through a divorce, and put all the counseling on hold that was outside of school. Anything that was private practice.
Well, good for you that you had the foresight that you saw someone. You could have just let her go because, like you said, I got to go. I got
there was a part of me that was.
But you didn't.
No.
And you called for help, and you probably saved her life.
It'd be so interesting to, you always, it's a part of a therapist thing and a teacher thing. You never really see the outcome of a lot of your work.
Yeah.
And that's so hard. I'm, hoping she's fine. That was a very critical family. I worked with many people of that family throughout the years, but in school and out of school with that family. But that did kind of launch me into the next phase where I went through a divorce. We'd grown so far apart. I was doing all the work as a therapist would on herself. And
they say that's why you become one.
You do. Most of us
I don't know who they are.
They
but
are.
yeah.
They.
Which is what I was going to ask you, though. Did you always want to be a therapist?
No. I always wanted to be a teacher.
You wanted to be
the teacher was the thing. My parents tried to talk me out of that. Matter of fact, I got accepted. This is funny, y'all. I got accepted to UT's business school in 1985. 1985, people like me with a 900 on an SAT and A's and B's maybe got into the business school at UT. Okay, so fast forward, we all know that's not happening.
Right.
But I got into business school, and my dad was like, that's what you need to do. Because he was like, don't be a teacher. And right after, I think it was probably the first semester, I was like, right into the education school. And he says now, oh my gosh, I can't believe I ever dissuaded you from that.
Isn't that funny?
And, look at where it led you. Because I hadn't been teaching, the school counselor wouldn't approach me about the ropes course. I wouldn't have experienced experiential ed, which got me out of the classroom. And and got me to be a school counselor. And then they just kind of, while you're doing school counseling training, you have the option to go to that like licensed professional counselor, licensed marriage family. You can you see these spokes, and it's just 9 more class hours, but then it's 2,000 supervised hours in the field. Now 3,000. It's changed to 3,000, and the licensure exam, which will kick your ass, that you take in a study room.
Doing what you want to be doing right now.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing because by the time I became a therapist after my divorce, then I was back at another school district. I got to kind of play therapist in the school district. It was small enough then, like Travis was, where they didn't have anybody going up to the alternative center to work with kids who were there for drugs, alcohol, and other behaviors that they, we can't kick kids out of school anymore, but you can put them in an alternative setting. And that's called a district alternative education placement. And so I saw that hole and I was like, who's serving the kids at the alternative center? This is 20 years ago. And they're like, so I was like, I'm licensed. So that was a great cross sell.
Yeah.
I was hired for kind of one thing and I was like, there's a hole. And so that was really great for a while. It really served the district well for a while.
And then what was your next step though?
So then I got to retire after 28 years and you tap out, you get a little pension.
No, hold on. You were you were responsible for some pretty cool stuff
I
in
see
that
what you're
school
saying.
district.
Oh, she wanted me to go through.
Just a
little bit. I was over the nurses. I headed up the PE and the health programs. I was over the school counselors. Now picture this is Lake Travis with 7 schools. So they won't hire a head of nurses. They won't hire a head PE teacher. They're not going to hire a head of counselors. They're like, that sounds like you could handle it based on my title at the time, which was health and social programs. So it's pretty broad. It was fun. I learned so much about the nurses and food allergy management and, EpiPens and Narcan and, you just learn a lot. And they were really, really, a tough audience, you nurses out there. You know who I'm talking about. PE was great. It has fun, whatever. They just have a great job.
You were so much more than that.
We did
you
drug
were in
ed,
with the
sex
parents,
ed.
drug
Yes,
ed,
we
sex
did.
ed. I mean,
Any
you were
hot topic,
yes.
the district was like,
Yes.
that's Kathleen. And so it was great initially until the district grew, leadership changed, and it became more litigious, and then it lost the fun. And so
you made a move.
And I made a move, and I was able to get out of the schools permanently. And that's been refreshing. Jamie was always there, Sandra. I didn't know you at the time. I hadn't offered that class yet, which is how we met, which is so cool. But Jamie was always there trying to encourage me. But you're so good at it, Jamie, because you would never be like, you don't tell people what to do, right? But you would say, like, what are you doing next? Or have you thought of this? Or so she always helped me.
I was so pushy.
It was very lovingly pushy. Trying to start a nonprofit. And a couple of kids had taken their life right after after I'd retired. And that's when I had my moment. I was bothered and I was like, this is BS. Like we are like, how did 2 kids die in 3 months in Lake Travis? Suicide.
Yeah. We have to do more.
We have to do more.
Parents, a community, a school district, 100%.
Just set me over the edge. So I began a small organization. I did not 501c3 it. I wasn't ready for that fundraising component. And it was a nonprofit in the state of Texas called Tune Into Life. Had a great time initially, man. We wanted student voice. We wanted teen voice to tell us what's happening. How are we losing connection with you guys? And what are we doing wrong as teachers, parents, community people? And we were getting momentum. And then, the COVID hit. And I'll be honest, we lost about 1.5 years. And the kids who were my front leaders at the time were seniors. They were freshmen when we started. And then they were like juniors and seniors, and they were done. And they were, it was honest. We'd lost our momentum. And I had met someone else who was dealing with created another foundation. And I still work on that foundation now, Engage and Heal. And we are a mission to eradicate suicide and have mental health literacy come into schools. That would be a big push we're trying to do. But Jamie was so sweet. I did meet Jamie along the way. She was on the Tune Into Life board. I met Sandra along the way of trying to figure out how to get my name and that information out.
So what was the biggest change or aha moment for you during that process?
Of coming out of like schools into the into the private sector.
Yes.
Freedom. I mean, George Michael, freedom. You know, I have never felt so handcuffed and so muzzled as I did those last few years in public ed. And all praise to these educators. I am not as praiseful toward the administration. And I'm just going to put it out there.
That's okay.
That's right. The teachers are in the
We
ground
saw it.
level. You saw it.
Parents saw it.
Yeah.
We did.
It was ridiculous, but that's been the most amazing change. And what's been kind of cool is there are new administrators in at least our local district who we are approaching, trying to work a little bit with, and other surrounding districts. We've made some headway with Eanes, which is our sister district. We're having a symposium, number 2 in February of 2025. We're just firming things up. So I'll tell y'all more about it. But we got that superintendent, our superintendent, and 2 lead social workers who will do a panel at one of the breakouts. And it's so cool because we're very proud of this other district who just really goes after it and just talks about mental health and suicide prevention and doing a great job right next door. So what we're going to try to do is see if we can't cross-pollinate with them. And
that's so awesome.
Yeah.
You've really come a long way.
I do.
And you're having fun.
I'm having fun. The kids, I think, it's so funny, y'all, to have kids late in life. This is a moment I've had several times where my kids see me now, and now they're young adults, and they think, I don't know what they think I do. They see me like pulling up to a computer when I'm doing like my online therapy sessions, because I do, still dabble in some private practice. And they see me do this with you guys. And they see me, maybe go to a luncheon for Engage and Heal or a mini fundraiser. And they're just like, I want to do what you do. I want to basically, I want to nap when you nap. I want to have,
that's
a nice
being
car.
Wise.
Yeah, and
you've earned it.
That's
all.
what I tell them. Do you not know that
later in life,
28? That's it.
Yes, it's.
They don't remember me crying in July when my 3 weeks off was up, and I had to go back to work, and the kids still had like 5 weeks off of summer, and I would just be heartbroken. Reagan says I scarred her. She goes, "Mom, you bringing in those college age nannies?" She goes, "I'm PTSD'd." Because of you having some kid, and I go,
oh God,
my God,
it's gonna happen. We're gonna keep learning.
How much putt-putt? How much bowling can I do? How much laser tag?
Yeah.
So sorry, kids.
Yeah, they'll get over
anyway.
it.
But
so
no,
do you find yourself counseling your family, for example, like when
Hell
something's
no.
happening?
No,
Really?
Because it doesn't work. They even will catch my question or my my tone. They're like, "Mom, stop it." I'm like, "Oh my God, all I said was, how does that feel?" I didn't say how does that make you feel? I do though. I have these I got to show you all these cards. Maybe we got to put them on the Mom Proof.
Oh,
they're like metaphors. So one of them is like a roller coaster, and you talk to the kid about their life. And there's a quick way on the roller coaster, but man, that thing spirals and ends up down here a lot. Or there's that slow, steady on the roller coaster that gets you to the goal. And I use it with my clients. So yes, I have been known to pull out a metaphor card or 2.
Well, why not?
And show them things, because a visual helps the kids.
So it's a physical card?
It's a physical card. I took them when I left the district.
You're going down
couldn't take the online material, but I have
Coming
printed a
after
bunch
you.
of these cards to work at the Alternative Center. So I have hundreds of them, and I was like, oh yeah. So I could give you some of the cards.
Okay,
actually.
we'll take the cards.
Yeah, take the metaphor cards.
Because kids are coming home
Do y'all
for
think
the
I
holidays.
act like that? I know. There's one about labeling yourself. They show these cans of soup. There's another one, a boiling pot, and these crabs are trying to get out. What's in your? Why is your pot boiling all the time? I mean, it's good. There's some good metaphors, y'all.
Ooh, okay.
But do y'all think that I come off if you didn't know I was a therapist? Do y'all think that?
No.
On the regular, right?
No,
On the regular.
No.
Never.
I think you're just super fun.
Yeah.
I think you are really
Y'all know
just
too much about me.
authentic and
Thank you.
Yeah.
I do
Fun
need
to
to write
be
a book.
around.
I'm going to write a book, y'all.
Okay.
And my friends are going to help me. I don't know what it's
Yeah,
about or anything right now.
that's all right. That is all right.
Anyway, it's been good to know y'all, because it's funny to meet people that have known you through a journey. Like Sandra, I'm just knowing you now. So I didn't know you as well as Jamie, when y'all were going through your divorces. And you, but even the little bit I do know you, maybe 5 years?
Yeah.
I know it's not about you this episode, but like it's just fun to watch your friends
about all of
transform.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
I've seen Jamie transform.
And we've seen you transform.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
Really?
Even recently.
I think so too. And what
Yeah.
you're doing with
Cool.
Engage and Heal and your whole team
Yeah.
over there is so important.
And your excitement. I think like
Yeah.
you've gotten like a lot more excitement, and I love how you're like you're just kind of like reinventing yourself.
Aw, I
Like
feel like that.
yeah, I could so see it
And
in
you look
every
great.
which way.
Thank
yeah.
you.
And you look great.
I'm fasting
Wes?
16 hours a day.
Yeah, you sent me that program on fasting. I don't like it. I don't want to.
You get to eat a lot during the 8 hours, though.
I didn't
Look at
get
her
that
face.
part. I'm like,
She's
I'm
all-
hungry. All right.
Yeah.
You okay if I didn't even offer if you want to ask this?
No,
No,
I
she
already
went first
did the last one.
episode. The guest gets to do it.
Oh, she's so bossy.
Oh.
She is
I
bossy.
take it. I'm like,
She
Give
is
it to
bossy.
me.
Do it.
how do you keep a straight face when both your teen and your partner are being completely ridiculous at the same time? You mean like ridiculous, like pains in the asses? Ridiculous?
Maybe.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who is this? Your kid?
How do you keep a straight face when both your teens or, you know, your children and your partner are being completely ridiculous, i.e., probably not being really
Mm-hmm.
conducive to your sanity? I don't
I
don't
tend
think.
to just drink a little more wine. And then it
I was gonna
works
say, my
itself
face
out.
reads it out. Like, I don't think I
Yes.
can cover my facial expressions.
Yeah.
Quick side note. One of my best feedbacks when I was a therapist trainee, they would have the double window there,
Yes,
right? And
yes,
so the
yeah.
professors are standing behind there and the other students are too. And you're doing a real session with people that sign up knowing you're a student.
Right.
And I came back there and they go, all right, listen, your facial expressions, you've got to tone it down. We understand you're a teacher. We get that the whole animation and the affirmations
Oh my
and the like,
gosh.
they were like, "Zzz." So anyway,
Okay.
I think I do still give it away on my face.
So
Just saying.
poker face.
Poker face. What about you, Sandra? You got a good poker face.
I do not have a good
Oh,
poker
what?
face. No.
You do.
I think people can read what I say. I have gotten better about just kind of like not reacting, you know?
That's a good.
But that it
takeaway.
takes
practice.
a lot of
Change.
practice. Yeah, change.
Pavlov dog.
Yeah,
yeah. That's funny. Well, thanks
Okay.
for interviewing me, y'all.
You're
I
amazing.
feel
Yeah.
special.
This has been really fun.
It has.
Okay. Tune in. The takeaways are
Poker face.
poker face.
No,
Yes.
and just probably, I think, you know, being okay with not always having what you want right away. Like, it took time to get here. I think we've all experienced that, but I think as people
That's such good
watching or
advice.
listening,
Yes.
It doesn't happen overnight.
Doesn't
Younger
happen
folks
overnight.
in particular know it's taken. You put in the work.
it took
and
it
takes
took a
time.
bit. It took a bit.
That's
When we
good.
drove up with our new car, and my kid was like, "Oh my god!" I said, "This took 28,000 years." No, but I mean, this is like this was a dream
Yes.
thing. This didn't
Yes.
be like
I love that about you.
wanted.
I've told that story 100 times. now.
Really?
We'll tell that on the next
Yeah.
episode.
Well, I don't want to.
Okay, we won't. Anyway, so then we'll wrap.
Thank
That's
you.
a wrap.
Bye.
Bye.